at the velocity, gives us an idea of the wind and the direction that wind is going, so we can see that rotation clearly in that storm moving just south and across Taylor County, but mainly just south of Campbellsville, Brian.
Yeah, and this is one that's been ongoing for a while, and I think what really helped promote this or push it to that level of going to a tornado warning was that large hail report, several of them, in fact, of the golf ball size in that area. So that is, again, tracking right into the southeast section there of just south of Campbellsville, just south of the university. It's just kind of skimming on by. It's going to eventually clip right into the northern section of Adair County, and then perhaps even Casey, if it can hold together that much longer. I do want to mention, though, Kevin, this one is getting stronger. They continue the severe thunderstorm warning on this one until the top of the hour, but the lightning has really increased, and the velocities have increased here right over Lebanon. So it wouldn't surprise me that we may get some certainly some hail reports of this, although I don't think we've had anything as of yet. We'll be monitoring that, but it looks to be more of a wind threat when you look at the reflectivity. So maybe some high winds in Marion County. So yeah, we got the tornado warning with hail, golf ball size. That report, by the way, came in Greensburg itself, and that was at 25 after the hour.
All right, I've got plenty of family down in Marion County. I'll ask them if they see anything to shoot me a text. We see that storm will be approaching Springfield and Willisburg. This is the tornado warning. We can split it up and show you a number of screens that we're watching. We keep an eye on the radar constantly, a number of radars. We also keep an eye on our SkyTrack network of cameras that we have throughout the region, and we've been watching all kinds of things throughout the afternoon when it comes to the radar products that we have, so you can see what we're looking at. Let me go inside this storm once again. As you see, the wind speed south at 9 miles an hour, giving us an indication of the winds here in Louisville, things calming down just a bit. But across the entire area, our main concern is off to our south. I'm going to zoom into this just a bit more, and then we'll take a look at both the velocity and the hail threat coming out of parts of Taylor County, and that's where we find the Campbellsville area. So as we look inside the storm, you'll note that these storms have had the ability to produce not only the large hail, but have produced it. We had golf ball size hail coming out of the storm, now passing by Campbellsville. And then to our south, we have the greatest rotation on that, which is why we have the tornado warning for a good chunk of Taylor County, stretching down into Adair County. And there's the county line pushing on to the south. Up to the north, you can see a number of storms that are a little weaker, but still producing the potential for large hail. That's pushing past the Lebanon area, moving into southern parts of Washington County and Kentucky. That's the Springfield, Willisburg area on to the north and east. So these storms are moving at a very fast pace. Let me pan the radar around and I'll show you what's going on to the north. So we're on for the tornado warning, but we are watching other storms develop. Here's another one moving past just off to the east of Shepherdsville. We can see that from our SkyTrack network of cameras. Same story down in Bardstown. We're watching that. That's the SkyTrack you see behind me. Looking to the north, Jefferson County, free of storms, but not by much, just across the river. In fact, maybe clipping the extreme northern part over near Prospect, but you can see up through Clark County, lifting up into Scott County in Indiana. Thunderstorms continue. Back out to our east, severe thunderstorm warnings continue for parts of Owen County, that's Owenton, and then off to our south, where we've had some very strong wind speeds coming out of rain pushing through. No large hail out of that storm, but nonetheless, we have had reports of small hail with many of these storms. I'm going back down to the south where we start to run into that unsettled weather. There's the severe thunderstorm warning for Lebanon, Springfield, that's Marion and Washington counties. That's we're watching. And also additional thunderstorm warnings for Greene County, Taylor County, into Adair County. New warnings continuing to be issued for that. We pointed out yesterday and even the day before, the greatest threat of severe weather, the greatest threat for tornadoes would be off to our south. We've seen a number of tornado warnings today. We've had damage out of Elizabethtown in Hardin County, out of Henry County, Point Pleasant, and now we have the tornado warning coming in for the southernmost part of our viewing area down into parts of Taylor County, where we likewise have large hail doing damage and the potential for that tornado passing by the area. As far as what we anticipate through the balance of the next few hours would be moving out of our area. So things will be calming down once this area of thunderstorms passes by. It's not a complete line of storms, but in general, you saw where we tracked it from, all the way down from the Cincinnati area through Owen County down into Marion. So it's on the far eastern part of our viewing area and just about out of our viewing area. Once that happens, we'll be in the clear. But for now, the south, down across Greene, Taylor, Adair, you're under the gun for that, and that's something we're watching. Let's go over to Brian Good. Brian, I see they're already trimming back the warning. It encompasses a very small area, but nonetheless, the hail threat's there, and I still see we have some velocity that indicates some rotation. Yeah,
especially what you're looking at. I've got it kind of tilted, but we're noticing where you see the bright greens there. It's the eastern side of Taylor County. Certainly indication of more of a rotating column that is taking place. Meanwhile, the winds here across Marion County look to be a little more on the down versus straight line wind type of an event that is taking place here into Lebanon, heading into eventually a gravel switch in the next few moments. So we'll be monitoring that one carefully. So two different types of structures to them, but still producing strong winds and large hail, right?
Yeah, and we haven't forgotten you folks who may be watching us on the cable systems in Frankfort up there. We've had a report of a 57-mile-per-hour wind gust, quarter-size hail just west of Frankfort. For you folks in Greene County, our who are underneath the tornado warning right now. We've been sending out these push alerts on the Wave 3 News weather app warning you of these storms moving in down there, these customized push alerts, so make sure you have the app right now.
And if you look at the velocity here that is behind me, this is a wide angle, if you will, push of straight line winds. Looks to be surging out through Franklin County there, Kevin, into the southeast corner of Franklin County. A new warning coming out now. It goes all the way toward the Lexington area. It lasts a while, but again, measured 72 mile-per-hour winds.
Wow, so that's enough to do damage. That's hurricane strength wind when you think of winds upwards of 70 miles per hour. So that's ongoing over toward the Lexington area. Our focus and the reason we're on with the interruption is down to our south, where we have the tornado warning still in place until 7 o'clock for parts of Taylor and northern Adair County. It's moving so fast, though, it'll be out of the area shortly. You can see additional severe thunderstorm warnings coming up. There's still the potential for large hail as you work your way down 68, moving through Greene County. That's south of Greensburg, just off to the west of Gresham. And then the tornado warning is in Taylor County, pushing closer to the Mansville area now. That's where we have the greatest threat for large hail. And then that rotation just south, a small part, but the northern part of Adair County. Otherwise, outside of that, that's the only tornado warning we have now. You see those streaks behind me on the middle screen. Those are hail tracks that Brian and Ryan are analyzing. And guys, walk us through that.
Yeah, and what we've been seeing is a report of half-dollar size hail in Campbellsville. That is very large hail. On Max 2 here, you'll be able to see where that hail track has been going through. Also, looks like out there in Bardstown, hail covering the ground several inches in depth, and that's the smaller hail. The bigger hail typically doesn't do that, Brian.
Exactly, and you're right. So that large hail core again south of Campbellsville and into that area, that notch, we're watching for portions of Taylor County. Also, we got a report in, by the way, of trees have been knocked down into Greene County as this passed through that area. So here's a look at the actual wind scope. Here's what you're looking at as we head into that area just south of Mansville itself. Far eastern areas of Taylor County. In fact, this is going to be out of Taylor County within the next 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to be out of there. But we do have still that potential for some rotation, if not at least certainly some winds that can cause some wind damage, since we have confirmation now of wind damage from this particular cell. Still watching you guys across Washington and Marion counties, the eastern side. You guys are still dealing with some strong winds now moving into your zone as well. And again, for those of you that are watching us in Frankfort, the worst of it's over with. You're dealing with a lot of heavy rain and lightning, but those strong winds now heading toward Georgetown. So, Kevin, it looks to be just our southeast section here of wave country that is still at risk from the severe potential here. And I do have some good news, by the way, just to pass along. The tornado watch has been trimmed west of Louisville. That has not been cleared. So some good news there.
Good news there for sure. The threat of severe weather is pushing out of our viewing area, as you've alluded to, despite the fact that in our western counties, we still, or our eastern counties, I should say, we still have a couple of severe thunderstorm and this one tornado warning. We'll be watching this for a few more minutes until it's allowed to expire. But all in all, as it moves over towards Cementsville and pushes toward Mansville, this is the area that we've been been mainly concerned with over the last few minutes, though we have had some large hail reports out of the Campbellsville area. There have been a number of places reporting some of that large hail. As we look to the north in this warning box, that's a severe thunderstorm warning, includes the northern half of Marion, southern parts of Washington County. That too moving to the north and east and will be out of the area shortly. I'll point out across the entire region today, we've had a number of folks experience some severe weather in one form or another. Most of it has been in the form of some hail and strong wind. So that's been the main threat. We have had isolated tornadoes that have developed as well. Maybe that's been the cause of some of the damage we've had. Roof blown off of a barn in Hardin County, mobile home being taken apart, but helped because of the weather moving through. That could have been a factor. And also a mobile home, maybe two, in parts of Henry County where we've had some trouble being reported. Right now, thunderstorm warnings and tornado warning continues, though the greatest threat of that hail is now passing out of the tornado warning box, but the greatest rotation just south of Mansville at this point passing by. So a number of storm reports coming in from across the area that we continue to watch, whether that be large hail or the damaging winds. We will continue to keep an eye on this as it moves off to our east. Once it passes, the threat of severe weather ends, but the rain chance at times will be back with us. Even into the day tomorrow, light rain, it's going to be possible. A much colder day with highs in the 40s. Right now in Louisville, we're at 69. We made it into the low 80s today. So very warm, unstable atmosphere that we've had in place. Not a whole lot of moisture to work with, which is why we've seen this be very scattered as opposed to seeing a big kind of mess of rain with a line of thunderstorms moving through. Brian?
Yeah, in fact, when you look at the radar loop, and I've got these storm reports as they were happening as the animation goes on through the afternoon, all the hail reports, look how, especially for Louisville, I mean, everything's kind of surrounded the whole entire metropolitan area with all these reports that took place. Louisville fit right in that gap there. So we're now winding down just with the main eastern side of this particular cell impacting those of you across eastern areas of Taylor County. Weather Service is still monitoring that particular storm there into Taylor County. We'll let you know what is going to be decided on that as we get through the next few moments, whether or not they're going to, more than likely, they'll be able to at least issue a warning, and there they go, just downstream of that. So really, it's just about out of Taylor County. Officially, though, Kevin, the southeast corner here of Marion and that section there of Taylor in that severe thunderstorm warning, officially that warning's until 15 after the hour, but it'll likely be out of there before that time.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that, but as you can see by the continuation of that warning being a severe thunderstorm warning opposed to a tornado warning, the threat is diminishing just a bit. We're watching that. We will continue to keep our eyes on the radar. We've launched our helicopter. Air 3 is on the way toward the Eminence area, and we'll be seeing live pictures from that coming up shortly. We have had mobile home, if not one, but two that have been damaged there. Down in E-Town earlier, we have damage coming in from Elizabethtown, barn with a roof off, and also a mobile home that was under some type of either deconstruction or construction that was sort of impacted by the weather that passed by. So we've got a few things going on across the area in addition to some large hail reports. The inches of hail that we've had reported out of Bardstown, typically as it rolled off of roofs. I mean, it did cover the ground, but when we looked at some of the images coming in, impressive sights seeing that hail stack up across the area. Good news is that was small enough not to do a lot of damage. Bad news is we've had some very large hail that has done some damage across parts of wave country today. Tornado warning still in place for Taylor and Adair County,
let it go.
Being allowed to expire now as it moves into the severe thunderstorm warning that we have just adjacent to that. So all tornado warnings allowed to expire. We're coming up here at 6:53 in the late afternoon, early evening hours, and across the region. Let me go back to our home view, and I'll point out just a couple of things. First of all, well, Brian, I'm going to ask you to, well, here we go. Finally, it responded to what I was asking. You can see those severe thunderstorm warnings. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire at this point. The additional showers back out to our west fading. This is the velocity as far as wind speeds are concerned. And when we look at that, not a whole lot the major hail threat moving out of our area. Greatest right now pushing through northern Taylor County, southern Marion County. So those are the areas we're watching. As far as the tornado safe place for folks to our south, in that interior wall, the only warnings that we have in place now are severe thunderstorm warnings. This tornado warning was allowed to expire early. So when we look at those, Marion, Taylor, Adair, and Greene under severe thunderstorm warnings as we speak. Our Kentucky One SkyTrack camera down in Bardstown showing the sun breaking back out, so things are improving a bit as you work your way on the backside of this area of storms, which have warnings all the way down from, say, the Cincinnati area through Lexington and into the southernmost part of our viewing area. We're going to keep it here because we're about to run out of time up against nightly news anyway, so we'll keep you with the weather. Connie and Dawn have the news coming up at 7 o'clock. I want to go back and see if we can show some of the damage that we've had. We have live drive down in E-Town, so I'll ask our news team to show us that, and thank you. Boy, that was quick. This is a live image coming out of that mobile home, and again, we understand that this was either being deconstructed or under some sort of construction in E-Town, but as those winds came through, you can see the power lines that are down. It really did a number. A lot of emergency personnel, including Kentucky Utilities or LG&E, on the scene as we see them moving through. You can see the police in the background there. So a lot of folks looking around the area at some of the damage that has taken place. And Hardin County is one of those places that we have that's been impacted. Other places would include in Hardin County where we had that roof blown off of a barn. That took place also down off of Mud Splash Road. So that was an area that we were watching. Also, over into Henry County, where we saw the storms move through. Here you see Carrollton, just south of there, Henry County, not far from Eminence. We had mobile homes there, also impacted by those strong winds. And now we have some strong winds and hail with these storms passing by. At this point, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but we still have severe thunderstorms capable of producing those large hailstones, as well as those very strong winds passing by. Here in Louisville, the threat for severe weather is over. In fact, the threat for severe weather is over for everybody along and west of I-65, and it will soon be over for the folks in our viewing area to our east as we approach, say, that 7:30, 8 o'clock time frame. So give it another half hour. 45 minutes, the threat of severe weather will be ending for everybody across the region. At this point, the other damage reports outside of wind to mobile homes that we've seen have been large hail reports. Ping pong ball size hail reported out of Harned, Kentucky. That's in Breckinridge County. We also had ping pong ball size hail coming in with golf ball size hail in places over in the Knobs, and likewise down in Campbellsville and Elizabethtown. So we've had a number of large hail reports. That's been the main focus really today, would have been the rotating thunderstorms or supercells capable of producing that large hail, and also seeing those possible tornadoes which would cause some very strong winds, obviously. So that's the current radar situation. I see another tornado warning popping up, but that's just north of the Lexington area over towards Scott County and outside of our region. So the Lexington channels will be handling that warning. Meanwhile, we focus on off to our south. It's 6:57. Brian, let's get an update from you, and then we'll get ready for Wave 3 News at 7 o'clock.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. And yeah, there's that tornado warning on graphics, too, that is near Georgetown, Kentucky. The reason why I wanted to mention that is the shape of it. If you're able to see that, it's taken on what we call like the S shape. That has taken place. I mean, a very classic signature, very powerful winds, and likely a tornado trying to develop in that area. So we'll be thinking about those folks in that area, and we'll, of course, keep you updated on social media if something else develops there north of Lexington. So that's certainly the strongest storm we have in the region. The storms, though, in the southeast corner of the country becoming heavy rain producers. Still a chance for some hail. Can't rule out an isolated spin up that could still develop, especially when we got these little isolated cells that are trying to feed in to the main line. And so we got to watch that potential carefully as that takes place. For those of us in Louisville, you want to know, are we done? Is this over yet? keep in mind the dry line that is going to be the end factor of all this is moving in from the west, and that is going to just choke off any potential for anything to redevelop. We're almost out of the woods, but really we don't see any signs of anything pop up anytime soon. Even that storm over Madison, by the way, for you guys that perhaps hearing that heavy rain in Madison, that is not severe. It's just heavy rain and lightning. And we've been watching you guys in Lawrence County. We haven't forgot about you. We're monitoring that cell that's been clipping north of Bedford, Indiana. That looks like that's not causing any major concern into that zone. So almost out of the woods. Got a few more warnings, though, to get past, and then we'll be clearing things up here as we get through the next 90 minutes or so, Kevin.
All right, Brian, as we wind up our weather coverage with the bulk of the severe weather pushing out of the viewing area and the tornado warning allowed to expire, we'll get to the day's news. We'll keep an eye on the radar should additional storms fire up for our southernmost county down in Adair County. We'll be watching that closely. But for most of you, those storms, at least the strongest part of them, moving out, and you can see that threat of severe weather has ended back out to our west. So we're coming up on 7 o'clock. We've got a day's full of news to share with you since we've been in severe weather coverage through much of the afternoon hours here. So for our entire weather team, we appreciate you watching our nonstop.